Our our guest had chimed in and told me that she was ready early today. I like that. I like that. That makes my day. So let me push a couple buttons right here to make sure everybody can see what's going on. And there we go. All right, the lady with the meals and grand meals and catering. I tell you what, I cannot describe your food. It is so different and great. I remember when I called you and I asked you were your asparagus smoked because it tasted smoked to me. I never had it like that before. But don't give away your secrets. But
Yeah,
anyway,
no, I'm gonna have to keep some of those.
okay. All right, we have our guest right here. I don't want to botch your name. Is it Kiara?
Kiara, yes,
Kiara.
Kiara.
Kiara. Okay. She is the owner, founder, chef of I'm sorry, yeah, Grand Meals and Catering. And I didn't know anything about you, but you turned around and told me you found out from Pretty Little Cakes,
Mhm.
and then you got a hold of me, and we talked a little bit, and so now she is our sponsor on our morning show.
Yes,
So
and I'm so excited to be partnering and working with you guys. I really love the mission and I love everything that you guys have been doing for the community here.
yes, and we will make sure we won't get it out because I didn't know about you. I didn't know about Pretty Little Cakes either. And once you start digging around, and I find a lot of black owned business on the San Antonio Black Business, and the other one,
Yes.
San Antonio Black Business Roots. I go through that every day, and I see what's on there. And if something sticks out, I'll talk about it on the air, or if it really sticks out, I'll give them a call and see if they want to be on the show. But you did the opposite. You called me.
And it's funny that you talk about that page because I push that page so much. I mean, you literally have entrepreneurs in every field that you can find on that page. If you're looking
Exactly.
for a barber, a realtor, a personal chef, a maid service, like you can find so many Black-owned businesses on that page. It's so great for the community.
And it's great for them to be on there, and I really enjoy. I'm making sure that we're broadcasting, so sometimes I forget to push a button. I really do. So, oh yeah, we're there. All right, just want to make sure. So, how do you get started in your business? Go back and let me know what turned you on to cooking. So, did you go on mute? Yeah,
Oh,
there you go. I can hear you now.
did I go out for a second?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, sorry about that. Can you hear me clear now?
Yes.
Awesome. I was saying that I think my mom is really who started me on cooking. She had me in the kitchen at the age of 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she would pull up a stool next to the stove and she would say, "Here, I want you to cut this, I want you to mix that." And then I would watch her, I would watch how she seasoned. She never measured anything. She never had a recipe that she needed to follow. So it was like someone was just speaking to her in her ear, telling her, "Nope, that's good enough. Add a little bit more of this." And it always was delicious. And I just learned from a young age that food really has that power to connect people together. My mom is the youngest of 9 siblings, and every single one of them can cook.
Oh, wow. There you
Yeah, and,
go.
and she's from Louisiana, so we would go and we would visit home with my aunts and uncles, and each time it would be at a different aunt's or uncle's house, and they would be cooking. You'd have the barbecue, you have the fish fry, you never knew what it was going to be, but you knew that people were going to be there. There was going to be music, there was going to be love, and there was going to be some really great food. And I just learned that, cooking is just such a great way of showing people that you love them and that you care about them. And it's really what bonded me and my mother from a very young age. So, as I got older, I just kind of started experimenting in the kitchen on my own. It went from her having to, tell me to come help her to, "You know what, Mom, I'm going to cook dinner today." what do we got in the kitchen? Let me go see. You got some chicken? Let me see what I could do with this chicken, you know? And then she would just, you know, she'd be like, hey, you know, this is really good. Like, I think that you might have a knack for this. And, you know, from hanging out with friends, they would come over, they knew they would get a meal. And this was in high school.
Wow.
You know, they knew if they were coming over to my house, I was going to have a plate ready for them. And even when I went to college, you know, my roommate in college says that I was the best roommate ever because she never had to worry about eating. So cooking has just, it's been therapeutic for me. It's been a passion for me, and it's been a way of self-expression. And I was like, how can I make good food convenient and affordable for more people? And meal prepping has become extremely popular in the past couple of years. Being able to just go to your fridge, take out a meal, pop it in the microwave, and be done. It's just so convenient. And it's funny because I had went just to do a little experiment. I went to Burger King and I went to Wendy's and I ordered their number ones. And their number ones are more expensive than any of my meals that I serve.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have a thing, I have a rule of thumb that I never charge more than $10 a meal. And now with inflation, a number one at Wendy's is over $10. A number one at Burger King is over $10. So ordering with my company, not only are you getting food that is more affordable than what you would get at a fast food restaurant, but you're cutting out those preservatives, you're cutting out that excess sugar, you're cutting out that excess sodium, and it's really helping us to, you know, get our health on track.
Yeah, well, I could tell you what I've been I don't know if it was your food or what, but my wife looked at me and I got on the scale the other day and I lost 10 pounds.
Are you
And I
serious?
lost 10 pounds. Of course, I've been doing other things like the number one thing I did, beer is out of my diet.
That is amazing. That is
And so
amazing.
and this is without exercising. So
Yes.
I got myself lined up when I get off the air at 10 a.m. I'm gonna go to the gym for a couple hours. I'm gonna start doing that routine and see what happens.
Awesome.
And I bragged to my wife, I said, I'm gonna get a six pack, not the one you buy in the store.
Well, look out for you because next summer come around and you're gonna have a whole summer body to be showing.
Yeah. Well, you brought up something about your grandma. I'm from a family of nine also,
Wow.
and I used to watch my grandmother cook and everything because I was the oldest grandson. To this day, when I cook, I don't measure anything.
Yeah,
I
it's the
don't.
same for me.
Yeah, and then I could go in the kitchen and my wife said, "What's for dinner?" I go in the kitchen and within 45 minutes, I whipped up dinner.
Oh, wow.
Because I watched how we did it. Because when I was growing up, not only did mom make sure we had our own ironing day, our own washing day, we had a day we had to cook.
That's great.
So
That's so important.
we had one day that everybody had to cook, even
That
though
is really
even though
good.
it was nine of us. But Sunday was mom cooking. But the rest of
Hmm.
the days we did that. So I know what you're talking about. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. And one thing I was always told when you cook, make sure you cook with love.
Exactly. That's the secret ingredient. It honestly is. It's the difference. You can put two people in front of you and they can have a cook-off. And the difference is truly going to be that individual who cares about the food that they're putting out. You know, it's not just following a recipe for them, it's not just making the food look a certain way. It's they really want you to enjoy it. And I get like the most satisfaction when I have clients reach out to me and say, those meals were so good, or I've lost 5 pounds and I've been, you know, really on track with this, you know, because the goal is definitely for our health, especially in the Black community, to get better. You know, unfortunately, a lot of the cooking and the food that we've eaten, you know, over the past decades, they're delicious, but they're not always what's great for us. You know, they're not always as good for, you know, preventing diabetes and, you know, preventing, you know, other ailments. And, you know, health is wealth. It truly is. The older you get, you start to realize how important it is for your health to be, you know, top tier. And that starts with what we eat, you know, what we put into our bodies. That's why when I cook my meals, I like to use fresh ingredients. You know, I stay away from canned foods. I stay away from preservatives. You know, I want you guys to be truly eating things that are fresh. And right now, you know, my husband and I are working on a garden. We want our food to be sourced from us.
Yeah.
Just cut out the middleman.
So, walk with us step by step on how you prepare that menu for that week. Is it something you have set up already? So, and you put it this way: when she brought my first meal, I thought I was going to get just for that day. She brought me a bag full of food. I looked at her and said, "Oh, this is for the whole week."
Yes. So the thing about meal prepping is that you're preparing food for an entire week. You don't want to just have, a quick lunch, basically, right? Because you can go to McDonald's and get a quick lunch. You want something that's going to be in the fridge, ready to go for about 5 to 6 days. And all of the meals that I prepare stay fresh for 5 to 6 days. So I'm very particular about what ingredients I choose because I know what's going to last in the refrigerator and then what's going to not taste so good after a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
And that's what really helps with controlling your diet and with weight loss is that you know what you're going to be eating that day. A lot of the times, what ends up happening is we wake up in the morning and we already have a million things on our to-do list. And by the time lunch or dinner rolls around, it's like, hey, let me just pick up whatever's fast. And unfortunately, there
Exactly.
are a lot more fast food options that are not so good. And then the few that are pretty decent, they're
Hmm.
rare. They're rare, they're farther away, or they're just super expensive.
Yeah.
Um, and if you ask a lot of people, like, why don't you, stay on track with your diet? Well, healthy food is, too expensive. And honestly, they're not lying. It is more expensive. And that's why when we, prepare these meals and I'm thinking of the menu, I'm looking at options that are affordable. If I buy asparagus, right? And I buy it fresh, it's actually cheaper than me buying it in a can. And so by me preparing the meals ahead of time and I cut out that cooking process for you, I'm able to save money in my cooking. And so I'm able to then make it affordable for you to purchase.
Okay. Which brings to this point right here. Your menu comes out. Oh, my camera just went out. I don't know why. Come on, camera. Well, we'll get back on there. We'll get back on there. Um, I noticed that when your menu comes out, people got to place their order before 6 p.m. And once that is done, then you start prepping
Yes.
food you're gonna
So
cook.
Yes, so the way it works is every Sunday there is a new menu available online at our website, and you are able to place an order from Sunday to Friday at 6 p.m. And that allows me for Saturday to make sure that I have all of the groceries that I need for the orders that week. And then Sunday morning at 4 a.m., my husband and we're preparing these meals, we're cooking these meals. So they're cooked fresh to order, right? And then they're delivered to you that day on Sunday. And then by the time that you've received your meals on Sunday, you see the menu for the next week.
Okay, I let's see. I need to go look at it. I didn't look at it that good, so I'll check it out because I got to put my order in. I say,
For a second, would you say
can,
that again?
can you hear me over there?
I can hear you now.
Okay. For some reason, she snuck in there and ate one of the Cobb salads. So I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. So the shrimp was great. Uh,
Awesome.
then I looked up and noticed that the Tuscan chicken. Did I see that right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was missing.
Oh, so she was taking a few of them.
Yeah, she took. I'm not that
I
happy.
think your sound is going in and out.
Is it? I don't know
Yes,
what's going
it
on.
may be the connection. You're sounding good now though.
Okay. And she doesn't like sun-dried tomatoes. She claims
Okay.
she said she never liked it, but she said those
Mhm.
were good.
Awesome. Well,
So
I did something right with them then.
yeah, so I told her that remind me of that Wendy commercial. Was it Wendy's or Whataburger? Where the girl was.
Oh, I think you went out again.
Yeah, there we go. Let me see what's going on here. Hold tight, everybody. I'm a,
Gotcha.
I'm gonna go ahead and see why did we lose signal. Gotta love live, live, live.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta love it.
It's to be expected.
So let me see if that worked. There we
There
go.
you are.
All right. I don't know. My camera froze, so it froze up the whole system. So we're there. But she ate my meal, and I just looked at her, and I said, "That's okay." I said, "I'll share. I'll share." So, what's on the menu for this week?
So this week we are having two keto options and then two vegetarian options. So keto is extremely popular. Keto is a low carb to no carb diet. So it's going to be high in protein and then it's going to also be aided with a vegetable. So we're going to have our honey garlic asparagus, no, honey garlic salmon with our asparagus. And I believe you've tried that one. I think you tried that one last week.
Yeah.
And then we're also having teriyaki chicken with broccoli. And
Ooh.
then we have two cold pastas. And then one is Italian. The other is a sweet potato burrito bowl. And this option is great for anyone who's looking for a gluten-free meal because it's absolutely no gluten and it's also vegetarian. So all of our meals right now are available online at our website. And we're also having a back to school special this week. So each meal is only $7, which means that you can get 10 meals for $75, and that includes your $5 delivery fee.
Yeah, I seen that on there. I seen you had that little line in there that it went down on price. And
Yes.
and I was saying, what is she doing?
It's just for this week, though, guys. It's just for this week, okay? So take advantage of it. We are still accepting orders. Orders will be coming in, and the sooner your order is placed, the sooner you get your meals on Sunday because it's a first come, first serve basis for delivery time slots. So again, we're going to be accepting meals until 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Well, I already know what I want. I want half and half on the keto one.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
I'll have your order ready.
So what goes in when you prepping the food? Once you get to order in, so you already know what you're going to cook that week, right? For that
Yes.
weekend. So you already
Yes.
know. So are you prepared? Do you have all the ingredients already, or do you have to rush out and get everything?
That's what Saturday is for. That's why we stop accepting orders 6 p.m. on Friday, because I already know exactly what ingredients that I'm going to be needing for that week. But to make sure that we don't have too much food waste, I wait until Saturday to go out and get the food. And therefore, I'm making sure that I'm buying the exact quantity that I need. So, like, for example, if I get 20 orders of the salmon, I know exactly how much salmon and how much asparagus I need to go out and buy on that Saturday because we want to keep the food fresh. So I don't like to overbuy. And that also, reduces food waste as well.
Okay. So then you got everything there. So now you're in there preparing food. I'm gonna ask this question. You can answer truthfully if you want.
Okay.
Okay. Because is your husband around?
He's not. He's at
Okay.
work.
Okay. Do you have him help you? And do you say don't
Yes.
do that? And do you give him that side-eye look sometimes?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. If anybody has ever watched Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, I'm not that bad.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Hold up.
I'm not that bad, but what I will say that there is heat in the kitchen, but he is an amazing sous chef and he is right alongside of me and he has picked up so many great cooking skills from learning, what seasonings go together to make certain options. This is a family-owned business. I used to be called Key's Kitchen. And the reason that I changed it to Grand Meals and Catering is because I gave birth to my first son 4 months ago. And I said, you know what? I want this to be a business that I can pass down to my children. So, one day if he wants to be the head chef, he'll be the head chef of Grand Meals and Catering and not Key's Kitchen.
And that way you be in the kitchen giving them the side-eye look, saying you didn't do this, didn't do that, right?
Exactly, exactly. But hey, it's how you learn. What do they
That's
say?
right.
If you can't stand the heat, then get out the
Out the
kitchen.
kitchen. Now, one thing that I really cut out, because I'm type 2 diabetic, And one thing I did cut out is the sodium intake. And
Yes.
I found out I could use different spices. And
Hmm.
like I like barbecue, smoking a brisket and stuff. I like doing that. So before I was putting this seasoning on and with sodium in there, so I cut that out and added some
Awesome.
other stuff to it. And when I did it, I was expecting a dramatic different taste because there wasn't no sodium in there. Well, people, that's salt, okay? So, so when I did that, I didn't notice the difference because I added different spices to it, and there was
Yes.
no and you did I didn't miss the salt in there at all.
Exactly. And that's really the trick is learning how to flavor your food without having to include seasonings that have high sodium content or adding just table salt in general. A good alternative to regular iodized salt is Himalayan pink salt. That is a better option. Also, for some of our Cajun friends out there like me, if you're familiar with Tony Saturn's, which is a very, very popular, very common seasoning that we like to use down south, they have a low sodium option. So looking for that low sodium is really going to be key. And it doesn't take away from the flavor. It's just going to be better for you.
Because I know there's a lot of people in their season, they say it's missing salt. Are you serious? You know, are you serious? Missing salt. So I look at that and that remind me of what movie was that? I can't think of the name of it, but it was the guy was making some Kool-Aid. And
It
little
didn't have
boy,
enough sugar.
that boy just poured that whole bag of Kool-Aid in there. I think the lady said, "Oh, I got a toothpick. Just watch him doing that." You know,
Oh my gosh.
people add too much of the wrong thing to it, think it'd bring it flavor when you can add something different. Like
Exactly.
when I do my macaroni and cheese, my son, my daughter-in-law, my daughter asked me for the recipe. I said it's a family recipe. I can't give it to you. And they said, "Well, we're family." I said, "If I have to give it to you, I have to kill you." You know. And so at the time, my parents came down one time, and I did some smoked chicken and all that stuff, and some macaroni and cheese. And my dad turned around and said, "What's in this macaroni and cheese?" I said, "I can't tell you. It's a family secret." And that's just something that I do because I enjoy doing that, you know.
Yes, because
And
they'll get it one day.
yeah,
Because one day you're not going to want to do the cooking, and that's when you'll give them the recipe for them to make it.
I already gave it to them. I gave it
Have,
to
did,
them,
did
all
they
of them.
execute it right?
They said it's just not the same. I said, "You're missing that one ingredient,
That one ingredient, that's what
love,
it is. It's the
love."
love.
That's why I
It's the
told them.
love.
And my son turned around and said, "What love got to do with it?" I said, "Okay, Tina Turner."
And you know what? It's so true. For some reason, even you can get the exact recipe because I have recipes from my mother, and I think I'm a pretty good cook. And I will make these meals, and they will just not be the same. And I don't know what it is. And it's just because there's just something about your own mama's cooking.
Yeah.
You can't copy it, you can't mimic it. You'll always look back and think about mom's macaroni and cheese and grandma's collard greens, and no
Oh.
matter how much you try to get close, you might get it very, very close, but it's never going to be just the same because
So
it's the memories. It's the
you,
memories that are attached to it.
yeah, you named all that off. So whenever you cook that, let me know, okay?
You know what? We will be having family meals coming for November and December. We like to do that every year. So
Mm,
with our family meals, you can get family size sweet potatoes, family size mac and cheese, family size collard greens. Because
get
I
you.
mean, I'm all about healthy eating, but I mean, come on, Christmas and Thanksgiving, I got to stay true to my roots.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom showed me something one time. I noticed when people do greens, they use the ham hocks in there. And to me, they overcook it because when you start eating the greens, you taste the splinter of bones in there, you know? And
Hmm.
so I asked my mom, how do yours don't do that? She said, first of all, I don't use ham hocks, I use smoked turkey necks. And
I was going to say that.
and she cut up one jalapeno with
Mm,
onions. She used a cheesecloth. She would actually
really?
tie it up in a cheesecloth and throw it in there. So the flavor comes out when you get the greens. That's all it is, just greens. Now,
Oh, wow.
people fight over the turkey neck bone in the cheesecloth, but
Right.
I seen her do that, and I said, oh, I'm gonna try that, and I tried that, and it works.
See, it's the tips that we learn from our moms, from our grandmothers, our aunts, our sisters. I
Yeah,
mean, that's the rule of thumb, right? That's what really creates these great recipes. Because I'll have people ask me, what seasonings and how much of this and what are the measurements? What's the recipe? And I'm like, you kind of got to learn how I did, and I learned through
yeah,
observation. I learned through watching. I was able to
exactly.
watch my mom and my aunts, and I would see, how
Wow.
much they would sprinkle, and it's truly just a feeling. I mean, I heard a joke the other day, and it says, we don't follow recipes, we let the ancestors tell us.
A little pinch of this, a little pinch of that,
Exactly.
and
And
I
it's
grew up
like a
saying,
whisper. They
yeah,
tell you,
I said,
trust
what's a
them.
pinch? Depends
Right?
on how big your hands are. What's a pinch? But
Exactly.
grandma used to do some fried chicken, and I remember a couple of times I went home and they had a lineup for me to cook because it was so close to grandma. I was just in the kitchen watching her, and um, I think my brother sat there and told me that every time it's consistent. I said, I don't know. I just go by what I seen. That's it. A little pinch
That's
here, a little bit
truly it.
there. Well, I don't fry chicken anymore. I got the air fryer does that for me now. So I
Awesome.
cut the fried food out too. So
Yeah, we got to leave all that grease
yeah,
alone. And the air fryer is a really great option. It makes it still crispy
yes.
and crunchy, but it's just not as bad. It's not clogging those arteries like how our normal fried chicken can.
Well, I tell you one thing I won't put in the air fryer anymore. That's
What?
fish. It does
I
not.
haven't tried that.
I tried it
No.
3 times. The third time, I told my wife, "That's it." I put it on the grill and smoke it.
And
That's
you know
what I do.
what? I don't have an air fryer. I cook in such large quantities that an air fryer is just too small. It's
Right,
just too small for me. And I never have fried options on my menu because it just doesn't taste good after that first day. Like,
right.
when you go to a fish fry, it's real great, it's crunchy, it's flavorful, it's delicious. And then you put it in the fridge, and the next day it's soggy. It just doesn't last good. So all of the
Yeah,
options that I have, like, my salmon, my chicken, they're going to be baked in the oven or they're going to be sauteed. So therefore, I don't have to kind of worry about jumping into that realm. But
yeah.
we do every so often, we do plate sales, and I post them on our Facebook page. And it's for our cheat days because regardless of how healthy we eat, everybody needs a cheat day. And so
Exactly.
sometimes I do pop up and I'll say we're having catfish plate sales, and you can get, a whole catfish platter in your plate to go plate for lunch, and we'll be delivering them only for that day. So if you
Yeah.
are following me, definitely look out for those. And if you're not following me, that's a good reason to follow Grand Meals and Catering on our social media websites, because we do have cheat days too.
Oh, yeah. I have a cheat day every once in a while. I like my cod, and
Oh, yeah,
I like it blackened, and I like smoking on the grill with lemon pepper on it and all that. But
that sounds great.
I get that inkling. I gotta have it fried.
Yeah,
And
really.
every once in a while, I will fry it.
And you know what? That is the key to living a healthy life is balance, right? Like, what fun
Yeah.
is life if you're eating, only healthy every single day, and for a lot of us who are used to kind of indulging in some of those naughtier foods, when we try to just cut cold turkey and just strictly eat healthy, you slip up, and then you might slip up worse than what you would have normally if you were allowing yourself to have that cheat day 1 or 2 days out of the week.
Yeah.
So, like anything, life is about balance. If you've been going strong for 6 or 7 days, eating your preps, eating, your calorie restricted diet, well, you know what? If you're craving a burger, if you're craving some fried fish, go have it. Go have it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that right there. And I do it every once in a while. You get the moments where, hmm, and I go ahead and do it. And then my wife will look at me, it's my cheat day. She said, okay, it's mine too. Actually, my wife started off eating healthy before I did.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, so
she
she was
started,
able to
yeah,
influence you.
right. And so I think one time we went to a restaurant when I left all that stuff alone. I told him to take the food back. Said it was wrong. It was too salty. It
Really?
was too. I said I can't eat this, and I
And
did.
you know what? That happens a lot of the time when you cut out sugar. So I had did a 30-day no sugar challenge, right? And there's sugar in everything. Honestly, they put sugar in everything. But I'm talking about like intentional sweets, intentional drinks that have sugar. I cut that out. The next time I had sugar, it was, I think I had a sip of lemonade and it tasted, and this was just normal Minute Maid, so it's not like I had made it any differently or added too much sugar in it, but it was just so overly sweet because your taste buds really do change when you start to cut out sugar and you cut out salt.
Yeah. Let's talk about the nutritious side. I was watching I'm always watching something on TV. It doesn't matter what I started watching, but I watched this one thing, and they said the one thing our body was never made for was consuming corn syrup.
Hmm.
They said that does not go through your system like it's supposed to, and that's what turns to fat.
Exactly.
So I started reading the labels of everything. There's corn syrup in a lot of stuff.
They add sugar and corn syrup into everything. And it's things that you wouldn't notice because you're like, it doesn't taste sweet. But here's the thing, sugar is addictive, right? So, sugar, the way that your body reacts to it, it reacts to it like a drug. It gives you uh, it releases a dopamine in your brain, right? And so there's certain things that give your brain a dopamine release, right? So things like alcohol give you a dopamine release, drugs give a dopamine release, sugar gives a dopamine release. And that's why when you've had a bad day, or you're feeling upset, sometimes what you'll turn to is, oh, let me go have a piece of chocolate cake, or let me go get some ice cream. It's because it's releasing that dopamine release, and then it's creating an addiction in the body. So the reason they added into all of these different foods is because it makes you want them more. So, like for example, white bread. White bread has sugar in it. French fries, they add sugar into the oil that they're frying it in. So that's why, sometimes when you're craving something, you'll crave a burger and fries. And that's because there's that sugar in it that's giving you that dopamine release, and you keep
Mhm.
going back to it. So that's why, like anything, you have to slowly start taking it out of your diet. And what you'll notice is the less sugar that you consume, the less you crave it, and then vice versa. The more sugar you consume, the more you're going to crave it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Make a lot of sense. So I'm looking at nutrition values in meals, and they are really going back to hormones.
Mm-hmm.
I have to bring that up because there was a study that kids are developing early because of the hormones they put in the food. And they did a study on that young ladies develop earlier now because of the hormones in the food. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just we're just processing everything,
Yes, yes.
you know.
And my day job, my 9 to 5 is I am a social worker, and I'm a social worker for children. And I can tell you, comparing how I was and the children that I saw when I was in school to the children that I see now, they look very grown. They
Yeah,
do. They do develop a lot quicker. And I think, if there is a study saying that the hormones are a cause of that, I would believe it. I really would, because we eat way more processed foods than we did before. Now, having fresh produce and cooking food from scratch, that's kind of unheard of now. We
yeah,
live such, busy lives that the supermarket has in turn made everything convenient for us. So that's why the first thing you see when you walk into the supermarket normally is the frozen aisle, right? Like,
Yeah.
have you ever noticed how when you go into Walmart or HEB, the frozen section is normally like it's at the beginning of the store? It's marketed like that for a reason. So the frozen section, it's just easier. It cuts out the time. It makes it quick for you to just get something that tastes good. But on the opposing end of that, you have so many preservatives, and those are those hormones that you're talking about,
Yeah.
because that's what keeps the food fresh. Think about it. If I were to go order a pizza from Papa John's, how long is that pizza going to last before it goes bad? Probably maybe what, 2 days, and then
Yeah.
it starts to taste gross, and then maybe 3 or 4 days after that you might start seeing like mold or something on it, right?
Right.
How is it you have DiGiorno that stays fresh? It could stay fresh for probably 2 3 months in the freezer, and even if you put it out and let it cool, it still will last for weeks. And you have to ask yourselves these questions like, how is it this food is not molding? How is it this food is not going bad? And it's because it's loaded with preservatives that allow for it to stay on the shelf longer. But in turn, when you're ingesting that, think about how long it's staying in you. It's not digesting like normal fresh food would. And then what is that causing as a reaction in your body?
Yeah. And it turns into fat.
And it turns
That
into fat.
that was the documentary I was watching. You almost said verbatim what they said, and it said it has nowhere to go. It has no nutritious value. So it's supposed to go through your digestive system, but it hangs around there. It,
Yeah, just like it hangs around on the shelf and in the freezer.
yeah, and it shows it hangs around, and you get that tummy.
Yeah.
And
And you had said that you stopped drinking beer. Well, the term beer belly,
mhm,
it's because of all the yeast that beer is made of. So when you're constantly drinking that beer, like that's why you feel that bloated feeling, right? Is
yeah,
because you're ingesting that yeast that makes the beer. So these are the conversations and the questions that I want, our community to really start looking at and asking ourselves is, what are we doing to our health? And I know that sometimes we want to choose what's convenient and what's more affordable, but unfortunately, what happens so often is we pay for it later on.
yeah,
So, we take the quick route now, and then years down the road, you have diagnosis of diabetes, of cancer. Obesity is like the number one killer in America, and it sucks. It really does suck when you get of older age and you lose mobility. But these are things that any of us can start preventing today. Small dietary changes are all that's necessary and to give us a better life at the end, because I always say none of us are going to make it out of us here alive, right? Like
yeah,
we're all going to go someday, but that does not mean that we have to, have a terrible time while we're here. And if we can do anything that will allow us to feel better, then we should do it, and so that's why, my meals are never more than $9 for per meal individually. So regardless if you want to order enough to have for, lunch all week or lunch and dinner all week, or even if you just want to have two or three during the week, they're going to be cheaper than what you would be paying for at a fast food restaurant. And all of our meals are under 600 calories. So we're helping you to stay into those calorie restrictions, because a man needs no more typically than 2,000 calories a day, right? So if you order enough meals to have for lunch and dinner, well, that's 1,200 calories for those two meals or under. And then that allows you to have a breakfast, and that also allows for you to have snacks during the day too.
yeah.
And then for women, normally it's no more than 1,500 calories, depending on how active or inactive you are during the day. So again, we're making it easier for you. We're making it affordable. We're making it convenient. And then you already know that each meal that you eat, it's under 600 calories.
Yeah, and I the first meals you delivered to me, it just so happened my wife was out of town with her sisters. So I sat down there and let me see. When you delivered, that's when I ate the first one.
Okay.
I couldn't wait to taste it. And my taste buds just, you know how you try something new, your taste buds just open up. And
Yeah.
so then I think one day of that week, I had it for lunch and for dinner.
That's awesome.
I
And
had
that's
both.
what we love. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I advertise it, you know. That's why we're doing the 10 for 75, because what we want you to do is be able to have lunch and dinner Monday through Friday, right?
Yeah.
Or at least be able to have it for your lunch throughout the week. And this is for, you know, not just our gym guys who, you know, are trying to stay cut. This is for the stay-at-home moms who are juggling their kiddos and, you know, trying to eat healthy. This is for our working professionals who, you know, are having business meetings and they're short on time and they don't have time to leave the office and go run out and get something. You know, this is for anybody. You know,
Yeah.
being and living a healthy lifestyle is something that is attainable for literally everyone. It's just it starts with small steps.
Yeah, and you're right with small steps. But your food, I can't wait to taste the what you got. You say teriyaki chicken and broccoli?
Teriyaki chicken and broccoli. We're gonna have our honey garlic salmon with asparagus, and we have our sweet potato burrito bowl, which is gluten-free and vegetarian, and then we have two cold pastas.
Oh, I'm gonna to get on that. Well, I already know what I want. I already told you I'm good. I just like the different tastes. One last question for you before we let you go. What is a good substitute? Because your meals are good, and then you got Saturday where you got to fend for yourself and cook for yourself because
Depending on how many you order,
well,
depending.
yeah, that's true. But if someone was supposed to do that, what is a good substitute for salt?
A good substitute for salt, it's going to vary on what you're making, right? So, like if I'm making an Italian dish, what I'm going to use garlic powder, onion powder, Italian herbs. Uh, let's see. Here, I'm looking over here at my seasoning
Oh, look
bottle.
at you. All right.
So it really varies. But what I will say is Tony's is a go-to for me. I love Tony's. And if you are Creole, if you are used to Cajun cooking, then you're pretty familiar with it. They have a no sodium, low sodium option, and it's so flavorful. It's what gives my food that kick. It truly does. And so I would say you should, you know, pick that up if you're looking to make something like chicken or, you know, some type of fish, but you don't want to add a lot of salt. That would be my go-to recommendation. But again, it's going to definitely vary on meals. And that's why, you know, the internet is such a blessing, right? Because you can look up no sodium recipes and they will list all of the seasonings on there that are going to make that food taste how it should and not
Yeah.
be bland, but also, you know, not, you know, spike your blood sugar as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I was saying with my Italian dishes, when I make like spaghetti or lasagna or something, I'm using garlic powder, I'm using onion powder, I'm using that Italian herbs, and that's giving it that flavor. But again, just taking normal table salt and adding it to your food, what you'll be surprised is it's really not giving the flavor that you think it is.
Mhm.
It's really a lot of other herbs that are doing all of the work. And what happens is the table salt only enhances those flavors that are already there.
Yeah.
So if you learn the proper ratios of how much more to add of something like garlic powder, onion powder, something like that, you can still get the exact same delicious taste without having to, you know, have that high sodium content.
Yeah. Speaking when you're talking, like I love the holiday season, and I do a pretty mean stuffing. I,
Oh, nice.
I like doing that, but my thing is the sweet potato pie that I do.
Mm.
Everybody always asks what you have in there. It tastes this, but they can't taste one ingredient I put in there. And I never shared it with them. And I'm not planning on sharing it with them. It's my own secret that I put in there, but they cannot. They said there is something different about this. And I haven't even told my family. But the recipe I got from my side of the family, my grandmother's side, I used to watch
Mm.
them do there, and I turned around and added something else in there, and everybody's saying, "What is in there?" I haven't told nobody yet.
And you know what? Keep it as your secret.
Yeah, they
I
don't
share a
know.
lot of things about my recipes, but at the end of the day, just know that it tastes good.
All right, closing thoughts for you. How can people get a hold of you? Um, website and whatever it is. Let them know
Yes.
how to get a hold of Grand Meals and Catering.
Yeah, so I like to be very easy to contact. My phone number is listed on my website, which is www.grandmillsandcatering.com. You can call me to place an order over the phone with your debit or credit card. You can place an order online through our website. You can even use Apple Pay. You can send us a direct message on Instagram or on Facebook. We accept all electronic forms of payment. So really there is a ton of different avenues. I have people who place orders in several different ways, and I like it to be like that because I don't want people to ever feel like, oh, well, that just seems too hard for me to do that. Even if you're
Yeah.
not tech savvy, give me a call. Just call me. just call me. One way or another, we will make sure that you have those meals to your door on Sunday.
Oh, that's great. That's great news to know. I tell you, it's yeah, and she is on time. Let me tell you something. She got to my house at 12:59:57. It was the 1/10 of a second was 1 o'clock, and she was there. And be aware, she will take a picture of you.
If you want me to, if you
Okay.
are okay with it.
Yeah.
I never feel bad, because sometimes I got people opening the door and they in their robes and stuff. Don't worry, I'm not even gonna ask.
Like for the show right now, I tell everybody, I wear my shirt. But
Yeah,
but one time I stood up and walked away. They see my pajama bottoms on, just
exactly.
my shirt. I'm just here. I said, that's all they're gonna see is that. Somebody send me a message. Ron, do you know you still having your pajama? I said yes. I didn't cut the camera off.
And we also do have contactless delivery as well, because we do understand that with the world's environment right now, we have monkeypox and COVID and all of these things. I
Yes.
do want everyone to know that we take that very seriously. When you see me at your door, I do have on a mask. All of the food is prepared with gloves. We are highly sanitary, and I prioritize that. So again, when I'm talking to you, contactless delivery is definitely an option. I will ring your door, leave your food at your doorstep, and there you go.
And they better get out there for the cats get to it.
Because something will get to you.
Oh wow! Now you told me your nickname. I could call you Key.
Yes,
All
Key.
right,
Everybody calls me Key.
all right, all right. Well, Key, we appreciate the time and your bubbling personality. That's you can see that the love is in the cooking by just talking to you right here today.
Well, thank you so much. That is
Uh,
definitely a compliment to me, and I am just grateful for everything that you're doing here on WSAN Radio. And I'm looking forward to continuing to sponsor you guys.
I appreciate it, Key. Take time. Or I used to tell my wife, take your time and hurry up, and she'll stop dead in the track, turn around and say, what did you just say? But so we appreciate you coming on board and let everybody meet our sponsor for the morning show.
Awesome. Thank you guys, and everybody have a wonderful Thursday, okay?
All right. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.